Good morning, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it is me, Goldie ranked first mate of the Gold Fang crew, and we are here with the SlyyReport for One Piece 1118. So, don't go nowhere. We gonna give you the news on the chapter, so stay tuned. Let's get into it. So, we start this chapter kind of where the last chapter left off. Not exactly where the last chapter left off, but it's close enough to it. So, we got the Iron Giant falling from the sky after an attack by Saint Warcury. He is falling into the ocean. The Marines around him are panicking. They're like, hey, evacuate. We got to get out of here. This is crazy. There's a giant mammoth boar thing on the shore. What's going on here? The giant's sinking below the waves, and as he is sinking below the waves, he is thinking. He's thinking to himself about Joy Boy. He's like, where are you, Joy Boy? I heard you. I know you were here. I wanted our paths to cross again. I wanted to see you. So, this is interesting. There's a lot of people saying it before, and I was on board with what they were talking about, but there's a lot of people saying that this Iron Giant has sentience, has his own thought process going on. So that's interesting. I'm trying to see what's going on there. And that there's another thing with that at the end of the chapter. We're going to get to that. But that happened. So as this is happening, as he's thinking these thoughts, we cut over to Alabasta because the message did get interrupted. But before the message was completely cut off, there's a little bit of static, and then you hear Vegapunk say their name was, and that's it. It's cut off completely. So we know that in this message, there's a lot going on there. People, as we cut over to, I believe, Alabasta, but not main island Alabasta. We are in Yuba, where Koza and his people are, and all of them. We see flashes of them. They're amongst the crowd while this is going on. But the mainline thing that's happening is people are being like, oh, the message was cut off prematurely. What's happening? Wasn't the last report that he was in the hands of the Straw Hats? Like, what's going on with that? Isn't he dead now? Like, so the Straw Hats killed him. The pirates did it. The people are blaming the Straw Hats. They're saying, like, there's no way the government would have killed their most valuable scientist, the smartest man in the world, over breaking a few laws. So there's a lot of misinformation and confusion being spread amongst the people. But we all know how Luffy's going to react to that. So I don't think that's as big a deal as people are making it. But it could be potentially a big deal. So we'll get back to that. But as that is happening, we also cut over to, Whiskey Peak. Yes, we also cut over to Whiskey Peak. We see Mr. Nine, Miss Monday. They have their child wear with them. And, that's cute or whatever. But, there's echoing these sentiments all over the place. And, and then there's Leo. Then the Tone Todders over there in Dressrosa. Leo's with Rebecca. And she's kind of annoyed by his naivete with this whole situation. He's like, oh, so Luffy did kill him. And she's like, no, that's not what happened, Leo. So, it's, just little quick cuts all over the place. Let you know what's going on. But we got to continue. There's more to get into with this chapter. And there's things I want to talk about. Things that are sparking controversy or whatever. But we're going to get into that. But we got to continue so we can get there. So, let's go. So as we cut back over to Egghead Island, we have the Gorosei communicating with York. And they're asking York, like, hey, how many of you guys are left? How many Vegapunks are left on this island right now? Vegapunk York, she's like, all right, let me go ahead and connect to Punk Records, see who's still connected. She says there's Atlas and there's Lilith. So I guess that confirms that Edison, he didn't make it, but, he did his part. He made sure the Straw Hats could get out of there and make it to the sea. He did what he was supposed to do. So, R.I.P. Edison. But We can't stop there because now these Gorosei, they decided that this is the priority now. We got to eliminate every other Vegapunk except for York and Punk Records, and that's what they doing. So they split up. We don't see Venus Juro or Jinbei or Zoro, but every other Gorosei, they link up, they communicate about it, they split up, they go, and they're off to the races to go and attack and stop the Vegapunk satellites. So while that is happening, we all cut over there to the shore where the giant warrior pirates, they're getting ready to shut out the ships, getting ready to set sail. They're getting ready to get out of here. We see Luffy, Dory, and Bragi, they jump onto the back of the ship. Luffy lands. He's like, hey, yeah, we're here. Let's go. Come on. Everybody's excited. They're like, all right, we got to get out of here. Let's get ready to wrap this up. So as that's happening, we get a communication between Nami and Sanji, and they're like, hey, all right, we're about to leave. Everybody's about to go. You know what I'm saying? Are y'all ready? Nami's like, yeah, we can make it. We can make it to the sea, but we might need y'all help to land. Sanji, being Sanji, he's like, I'll make sure all of y'all women are safe. Lilith, Robin, Nami, y'all got nothing to worry about. Frankie, he's like, I'll make sure the ship doesn't take any damage. And then Usopp, being who he is, he's like, hey, why not just save everybody? Like, why are y'all doing this? It's not an appropriate time for this. So everybody's getting ready to go out. Luffy, he's in the kitchen, he's stuffing his face. They're getting ready to head out. Everybody's, all right, we made it, let's go. Bonnie, she's taking care of the Marines that were attacking Vice Admiral Dog, Vice Admiral Bluegrass, and even the Sea Beast. She hit him she's sitting there holding a pistol, teasing the Marines, talking about, I thought you weren't going to let me get away. She done popped them. They turned into kids. They're all mad and stuff, talking about how absurd the devil fruit power is, and we will see how absurd the devil fruit power is. And, cursing Bonnie because they can't let her get away, but there's really nothing they can do now. So that is happening, and all of a sudden they notice, they see something approaching quite fast in the distance, and that is Saint Mars coming towards them. Saint Mars is making a beeline towards this ship. He's like, oh yeah, none of y'all is getting away. As soon as he's in range, he attacks. And then Dory and Bright are like, dang, if they can fly, it's going to be real hard letting them escape. To escape, they could chase us to the ends of the earth for real. But Mars attacks. 3 of the giants step up. We get their names, but their names aren't important, right? Well, no, their names are important, but, it's not the main thing going on right now. But these are 3 of the giant warrior pirates. They're named people, so I'm sure they will be important. So they step up. They block the attack that Mars has shot at the ship. But in blocking the attack, the ship still gets hit. So it's still on fire. The ship's on fire now. Everybody's panicking. They're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? What's going on? Like, we got to get out of here. This is not good. So, man, let me tell you. Now we in the thick of it now. So we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to get into this last little piece, this meaty piece right here, and then we're going to holla at you and get out of here. So stay tuned. So here we are. Mars is attacked. Giants blocked. The ship is on fire. People are like, okay, what's going on? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you hear, all right, I'm full, let's go. And as we see the sounds of the drums of liberation, the seas and the ship start to shake, and people are panicking around. They're like, oh my God, is this another earthquake? Is the sea level still rising? What's going on? But nah, it ain't that. It ain't that. So Luffy has now entered Gear 5. He's now the Nika, the sun god, the joy boy. So he's there. So he appears before Bonnie, and he's like, hey, Bonnie. She's like, Nika. He's like, I still don't know who that is, but what's up, Bonnie? You want to go punch these old guys with me? And Bonnie's like, I'm not sure I can keep up with you when you're like that. And Luffy, being Luffy, he's like, sure you can. Like, I don't know exactly what you're capable of, really. I don't really understand how your powers work exactly. But I'm sure you can do it. Come on. Come on. So Bonnie, hearing this, she remembers back on Luffy when she first met up with him on Egghead, and they were safe, and she was like, well, what's up with your wanted poster? What's up with that form? And Luffy replies, that's the form I take when I'm the most free. So Bonnie says, give me a distorted future where I'm the most free. And she is now in a Nika form herself. And she's like, I did it. And Luffy's just laughing his ass off. He's like, ha 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 ha. You know what I'm saying? He's enjoying this. He's having a good time. Bonnie's there being super free, enjoying herself, having a good time. Mars is shocked. Everybody's shocked. They're like, the Marines that are around, they're shocked. They're like, they're two white giants. They're like, what's going on? Like, they're shocked. Everybody else is shocked. The giants, they're not really shocked. Well, they're shocked by there being two Nikas, but they're just like, as soon as Luffy came out, they doing the dance. They're like, yeah, let's go. But Dory and Brocky, they're like, hey, somebody got to put these fires out. Everybody can't just be dancing. You know what I'm saying? But they're just infected by the joyous presence of Nika, you know what I'm saying, of Luffy and Gear 5th, of him doing his thing. But we got both of these guys in Nika Joy Boy like forms, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. And they're facing off with Mars. And over in the corner, we briefly see a shot of Kuma. And then we briefly see him in the corner where he made the promise on Guinea's grave that he would raise her daughter correctly and wouldn't have nothing. And it's just so like this. This is what I was talking about when I was saying we will get to the part where that's controversial. But this is like, to me, I love this because this is just so good. This is what Oda was setting up with that backstory, like the lineage of slavery, of oppression, and being taught that there was like, oh, this is what they believed in. This is what gave this entire family line hope. You know what I'm saying? And like the embodiment of all of that is that girl, this little girl who believes so much in what her father instilled in her that she went out in search of this. You know what I'm saying? This is what she is. This is essentially like, I'm not gonna say the full achievement of her dream, but this is essentially part of an achievement of her dream. Like she found out the truth about her father. She found out that her father, what he spent his life believing in, what he spent his life having the hope of, and having the hope in, and instilling the hope in her, that it's real, that it's true, that it's here, like it's a tangible thing. And like, it's so beautiful how it's just like all of the suffering, like that each person in this family line went through, from Kuma's parents to Kuma and Jenny, to Kuma raising Bonnie, to like the sacrifices he made with that. Like, it's just all of that. And then her own hardships that she had to go through, like not being able to be a regular child for the longest time. And then as soon as you are free, you're a criminal, you know what I'm saying? You're on the run, you know what I'm saying? You're constantly at risk of going, you know what I'm saying? You're doing something that's not supposed to be done. And then on top of that, you're chasing the dream of finding out what's happening to your father, finding your father, and then finding the person that your father said would come and free you. And then it actually happening, and then you being so inspired by that you now are able to become just like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful story thing. But I can't focus on that for forever. But that's just like a beautiful thing to me. I like that so much. It's really entertaining and brought a smile to my face, honestly. And it's giving like really big brother, little sister vibes. Like, I want to be just like you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I aspire to be that, because that's how that's what my vision of freedom is. It's like, this is what I was told would be the person that freed me, you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense to me. But in case they stuck on that, because as that is happening, we cut back over to the Iron Giant, and he wakes up, he's powering up again, and he's like, oh yes, I hear you again. You're here. You are here, Joy Boy. And that's happening as well. But this is the final panel of the chapter. This is really what the chapter led up to. And this is like really what that whole backstory and everything else led up to. And it's not a long chapter. It's not full of a lot of deep, heavy thing information like just spelled out, but it's just like if you knew how the story was gonna go, like if you knew what was being set up with the things that were right there in front of y'all, like, and I'm not saying you had to like it. I'm not saying you gotta understand it because you have that right to, but I'm just saying like it makes sense within what was set up, what's going on. But that's the end of the chapter. I will be back with you guys next week for another SlyyReport. I have been your host, Goldie Reigns. You know, it's getting hot. It's the summertime. So stay safe, stay hydrated. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I know it wasn't really a lot of things to like really break down and go over really in detail, but I'm sure that with the next chapter we're gonna get and with what else is coming in the future, that there will be plenty more to talk about. There's already a lot to talk about with the information that we've already gotten. So thank you guys for joining me. Once again, I have been your host, Goldie Reigns, first mate of the Gold Fang crew. And we want to thank you for joining us today on the SlyyReport. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram if you want to. Or I don't really be on there like that, but hit me up on there. And definitely follow me on TikTok as well. I'll be doing skits and stuff like that. And that's where a lot of the announcements and stuff be. But, you know, just I appreciate y'all. And we'll see you again next time. All right.